The Incredible Hulk is directed by Louis Leterrier and stars Edward Norton, Liv Tyler, Tim Roth, and William Hurt. Bruce Banner is a scientist on the run from the US military after he tested a project on himself which consequently turns him into a gigantic green rage monster whenever he loses his temper. However, when the general of the US military gets his hands on some of the formula, he wants to create an army of these things. One elite soldier gets a taste of the serum and becomes hungry for more, turning him into a monster that is potentially worse than the Hulk himself, called the Abomination. When I decided that I was going to review all of the Marvel movies, one I was not too keen on going back to was The Incredible Hulk. I seem to remember not having too much fun the last time I watched the movie, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Also, the fact that it is very disconnected from the rest of the universe due to the actor switch made it quite difficult to go back and quite difficult to imagine this movie how it was originally, and it just seemed a bit irrelevant considering how it was so disconnected and so just completely forgotten by the rest of the movies. However, when revisiting this movie, I was surprised by how much I was really enjoying myself with it. Granted, this movie is still down the bottom end of the MCU movies for me personally. However, it's not as bad as I remember it being, although it still has its flaws. I felt like the second act of the movie had a real drag to it, which made it seem quite boring, and also I felt the shaky cam was way overused, and also just used unnecessarily in some shots, which made it a bit out of focus for some scenes in the movie. Edward Norton was fantastic in this movie as the scientist Bruce Banner. I loved how he wasn't just this big, brooding, muscular guy, because this made the contrast between Bruce Banner and the Hulk a lot wider. It would have been super interesting to see what the MCU would have looked like if they wouldn't have kept Edward Norton instead of Mark Ruffalo, but Edward Norton nailed the persona of Bruce Banner down by having this shy and reclusive guy just trying to hide and not getting himself angry so the incident doesn't happen on a regular basis. Liv Tyler did a very good job of playing the very supportive Dr. Elizabeth Ross, and the chemistry between her and Bruce Banner was very clear, and you could believe that these two have a strong connection. Tim Roth as the elite soldier Emil Blonsky was perfect casting, and when he becomes the Abomination in the third act, it is really something to see. William Hurt was ruthless as General Thunderbolt Ross, and you can see that he really does not care about anyone. He just wants his Hulk weapon, because as he says in the movie, Bruce Banner's entire body is property of the US Army. The director did a fine job in this movie. The direction was nothing special, and as I said previously, the shaky cam effect was overused and used unnecessarily, which really pulled you out of the movie. However, I forgot how good the favela chase scene was in this movie. That was when the director really had a shine to him, and the way that chase scene was tight and focused, and the way it developed into the first Hulk out was so entertaining and so fulfilling, when that's what we've come here to see. We've come to see The Incredible Hulk. As far as this Hulk solo movie goes, I think it's as good as it's going to get, and for what we did get, I think this movie was a very decent attempt at a standalone solo Hulk film. I think Joss Whedon hit the nail on the head when he stated the Hulk works best as an ensemble character. This is because in both the Avengers movies, the Hulk has been a truly fantastic addition and works really, really well, and from what we are hearing about Thor Ragnarok, it seems like he's going to be a big part of that movie alongside his Avengers buddy, Thor himself. Overall, I think this movie was a decent attempt, and I have to commend them for giving it their best shot. With all of that said, I have to give The Incredible Hulk a C.